You know, the thing is, everyone's calling out Trump right now and like, oh, yeah, their first loss because everyone's petty. Any politician is all ego, is pettiness, and they want to just not root for someone because it's someone. They're not looking at the bigger picture of America. So let's see what this guy has to say.
I was a surrogate for Clinton, and Trump announced, "Hey, I'm showing up in a town called Menneson, which is a small steel town in the valley down from ours." And I'm like, why is he showing up in? I mean, that's not that. So either he's crazy or they've plugged into something. They figured out that they have to connect. And to
November
make that kind
2nd.
of an argument to go to these kind of places, and it resonated.
That was Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman on the Joe Rogan podcast shortly before the 2024 election, discussing why he thought Donald Trump was able to win his state in 2016. In 2 years in the Senate, Fetterman has shown an independent streak. And more recently, he's been willing to meet in person with Trump's top cabinet picks, including embattled Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth. And as we are first to report here this morning, he's also met with FBI pick Kash Patel. I met up with Senator Fetterman to discuss how he views...
It's a big boy. You know, he reminds me of Jesse Ventura. You remember that? The wrestler to politician?
his role as Donald Trump returns to Washington. So are you going to be Donald Trump's favorite Democrat in the Senate?
I don't know what that really means because you never know. But
I like that he's still staying Democrat. He's not flip-flopping.
I'm just a regular Democrat. I'm not leaving my party, but I'm not sure why some of the things that I've chosen to do, like meeting with nominees and having views that might be more aligned with some of the Republican side.
This guy looks like a real Democrat. Like, he's got his hoodie on. He's willing to open up his mind to whatever comes and adapt to it and not just fight it.
I think that's part of politics, and that's pretty much consistent with just doing the job and representing the kind of state that we have in Pennsylvania.
Looking forward, what are you most optimistic about with a Trump presidency, and what do you fear?
Well, it's like I've been warning people, like, you got to chill out.
Yes.
You know, like the constant, freak out. It's not.
It is a constant freak out. Oh, this is happening. Ooh, ah, ee, ooh, ooh. Yeah, I know a lot of people like that are just so reactive off of every little microscopic thing.
Not helpful. So, pack a lunch, pace yourself, because he hasn't even taken office yet.
Do you think he has the potential to be a successful and a good president?
I hope, because I'm not rooting
does.
against him. If you're rooting against the president, you are rooting against the nation.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I totally agree. It's like, it's not about America. That's why people are so worried about what's happening just in front of their face. They never realize what the bigger picture is. They can't slow their mind down. They're just like, with their blinders on.
I'm not ever going to be where I want a president to fail. So
no, you shouldn't. Win or lose, you got to adapt. Shut up and adapt. Because all the Democrats are going to do for the next 4 years are not try to work on America. They're just going to try to push against him whatever he does. It's not about the issue. It's about him. They don't care about the message. They just want to literally shoot the messenger.
Country first. I know it's become maybe like a cliche, but it happens to be true.
What was the single biggest factor behind Kamala Harris and Democrats losing in November?
You have a singular political talent.
Yes.
It's undeniable.
Trump.
He had the energy and almost a sense of fearlessness to just say all those kinds of things. And people, that's
literally what we need in humanity, is not to put on a fucking mask, is actually to say what you feel and what you mean.
Undeniable that it has
it's a trend. It's about to get real trendy, guys.
An entertaining aspect for that too. And just, if you're not afraid to say all of those things, and after you survived an assassination, you literally were shot in your head. and had the
Definitely.
presence of mind to respond, fight, fight, fight. I mean, that's a political talent. It's undeniable. And also,
Yeah, he is very strong. He's like a unmovable object, really.
I never believed that it was about fascism. And for me, that made it difficult for
Kamala Harris said that he was a fascist.
Yeah, well, it's like,
Well, Kamala Harris is a fucking liar.
that's her prerogative. I mean, but it's not a word that I would use, because you put a lot of Democrats, especially in my state, that I know, and I happen to love people that are going to vote for Trump, and they are not fascists. And also fascism, that's not a word that regular people, use. I think people are going to decide.
Yeah, it's old terms like he's a fascist for reactive purposes and marketing.
Who is the candidate that's going to protect and project, my version of the American way of life? And that's what happened.
I talked to a lot of Democrats before the election who were saying, we're going to win, Harris is going to win in Pennsylvania. But you saw this coming.
If you live in Pennsylvania and you spend time in
totally.
Red County, Pennsylvania, as much as I did, the support's astonishing. I mean, I was driving home from Indiana County at 9 o'clock, and there was a Trump superstore on the side of a road, 9 o'clock on Friday night, and people are buying swag. And then,
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Kamala only started, she was only running for like 3 months or something. Joe Biden dipped out after they couldn't kill Trump, and Kamala stepped in, and Trump's been running for fucking 10 years. Yeah, it's going to work.
that really crystallized at the assassination. And that was in Butler County, Western Pennsylvania, fairly close to where I live. And the day or two later, you start seeing people wearing shirts with that iconic picture, and the energy and the anger, and it's like, wow, I really thought, in fact,
a lot of people after that incident felt brave enough to come out of the closet, like closet Trump supporters. I actually saw some guy online on Facebook just going so in on it. It's like he actually went too far and just totally got canceled so far. I can't find his profile anywhere. Nothing.
I thought that might be ball game. And then the second thing really, and that's when Musk and I, we're in the business.
Oh, Lord. This guy is... I don't know. He's a powerful motherfucker. Trump is an old man. Musk is sort of in his prime in a way as a man.
Surrogacy is part of it, and sometimes it really has much of an impact, but I knew that was going to be a special one. And
the endorsement by Elon Musk.
Yeah. Well, an endorsement.
Dude, really imagine your bank account and you just see all this money coming in, like that, billions. To the people out there like struggling to pay their phone bill, I mean, like really, it's hard to imagine.
And an active one, and I'm not even talking about his checkbook.
Yeah.
It's rare if you have a surrogate that has a lot of fanboys and is very compelling to a lot of the demographic that we are losing in our party and in Pennsylvania.
Do you think he would have won without Elon Musk?
Yeah,
Well,
I think so.
I'm not sure if we would have lost Bob Casey, but I do think Trump, it would have been closer. I really believe that it mattered. We lost Bob Casey for 15,000 votes.
Everyone jumped on board. I mean,
yeah, I'm sure he did.
it's funny
move,
how
the needle.
Joe Rogan jumped on the last leg of it. And it's cool and stuff, but you got to realize that like he jumped on right before the ship sailed. You know what I mean?
It's undeniable.
How would you grade the Trump transition?
Well, I mean, it's not really a grade, but I'm
hasn't
saying this
happened
as a
yet.
Democrat. It's like I clearly, after he announced Gates, and I'm like, that's just. I described that. That's God-tier trolling. I mean, that was never serious. And anyone here in Congress knows that he's despised by Republicans, too. So that also set
that guy looks like a
the
greasy rat
stage,
for sure.
and here's what's coming. And now I have met with all of them so far, and the ones that we haven't.
His nominees.
They're on the schedule back in January.
You met with Pete Hegseth.
I did, yeah.
You think he's qualified to be defense secretary?
Well, I think we're going to learn more. We're going to learn more. And that hearing, and there's going to be an FBI background and that. But, my commitment, and I think I'm doing the job, is I'm going to sit down and have a conversation. And the president picked these people, not going to be my first choice, second choice, third choice. But that's democracy. And to me, it would be distressing if he is confirmed, if the Democrats are going to turn our back collectively to the leader of the defense. That's astonishing, and that's dangerous.
So you see yourself inclined to be open to supporting these controversial nominees. You might not support them all, but you see yourself...
You have
potentially.
To yeah.
But there is going to be some that I will vote yes, and there's some maybe that I'll vote no. But nobody can accuse me of just saying I had a closed mind, or I just said no because Trump picked this person, or whatever.
I saw you, at least Stefanik, you have said you're going to vote, or I saw you
got
with
the hoodie on.
thumbs up.
Yeah, well, and Rubio.
Dude, it looks like he's fucking fresh out of jail.
For me, it's like, Rubio, for me, it's like he's in the other party, obviously. But, there's a lot of, the Venn is closer. There's a lot of overlap. Yeah. And now if I was, as a Democrat, looking to assemble a bipartisan cabinet, he'd be a solid choice, from a Democrat.
You met with Kash Patel, I believe, right?
Kash Patel.
Yesterday. Well,
that'd be weird to be around a guy named Kash. In his eye, look how greedy that guy looks in his eyes.
Well, yes.
He's talked about going after Trump's enemies.
Yeah, and
you guys need to stop with that.
And we've had conversations, but we had all of these interviews were all off the record, and those things. So I'm not going to go into detail, but he absolutely that's never going to happen. He was very. He's not
going to use the FBI to go after Trump's enemies.
That's not it. Or
did you believe him?
Taken.
He's written a lot.
That's what he claims.
Yeah.
And I found out, his.
The pushback also is good for Trump because he has to know that there are consequences to his actions, and people are watching his every move.
Family's origin story and immigration. And we talked about that, and my family, immigration and things. And so I learned things about him. I never knew that he was a public defender.
So did you come across liking Kash Patel more than you thought you would, thinking you could support him?
It's how much you can absorb in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But I have learned things, and I have heard things, and I have no regrets for having these. I never left any of those interviews saying, wow, that was a waste of time, or I regret that.
Have you talked to Trump since the election?
I have not. I have not, no.
So I assume he's going to call you at some point. What is your message to him after he sees this?
What would I say to him? I'd be like, congratulations, and have an honest conversations of things we could work together, and some things we're going to disagree. I'd like to avoid the cheap heat and some of the other stuff, but it's going to be a kooky ride, I'm sure.
This guy's down though. This guy's actually, you could work with this guy. You can tell by his tone, everything. He has no ego. He just really wants the best for the situations.
And
pretty cool.
I try to be a committed, steady voice for Pennsylvania, and to remember that we have to find as many wins in the middle of an incredibly divisive times.
All right, our thanks to Senator Fetterman.
So true. You have to look at the wins. Everyone wants to look at the mistakes. So it's like Democrats just focus on the mistakes. But yeah, the Republicans do that to the Democrats also. And just like human behavior in general, stop focusing on the mistakes. Be grateful for the wins. Highlight those. focus on those. Put your mind on those. You know, the more you focus on the negative, that's what your entire life becomes. That's all you see. That's all the universe gives you to see. Because it thinks that you want that. And maybe you do. Maybe you are a negative person that does want that. I don't know. You know, I don't know what's going on. They're saying, I don't know who this guy is, but David Pakman show. Trump turns on Elon Musk. Audience stunned. Let's see this actually.
Donald Trump
1 hour ago
has started to publicly turn on Elon Musk, stunning the audience at this AmFest Turning Point Action
Let's see what this
event
guy has to say.